I was hoping nobody would ask me that. There is a friend of mine, John Purser in Scotland, and he has looked into the musical dimensions of this, and he says that you can, by causing the clapper to strike the faces and the sides alternately, you can get different notes. And he thinks that that was done in order to be able to ring them consciously, to get those different notes, and maybe different people ringing together, creating some kind of collective sound. But I'm entirely skeptical, because the whole origin of the bells is in the iron bell tradition, and I don't think it's going to be possible to make an iron bell to strike a particular note. You've got to make a sealed metal vessel, and it's got to be resonant. End of story, I think. And then the bronze bells come along with that, and I can't imagine that someone would come along and think, oh, let's make these into musical instruments. I think they were making them resonant. And that was the whole purpose. So that if you can get different notes out, I would say, well, that's just because inevitably the surfaces are not the same thickness precisely, and so you're going to get different sound. So I'm skeptical on that. And my first image it was 19th century image, but it shows a bell with a round tower behind. That was my first image. It's one of these great mysteries, because you see, if we have a continuous bell tradition from the time of St. Patrick onwards, and we don't have round towers until about the 10th century, that means that really largely most of the life of bell making and bell ringing had already happened before the round towers were even built. So I'm skeptical. I mean, the name of the round tower means bell house in Irish, but even the significance of that, though, is hard to tease out, because bells are, relatively speaking, tiny in round tower terms. So I don't know how they can be meaningfully connected, other than that you would keep treasures in a round tower as a secure place, and that the bell would be one of the treasures you keep in there. But that the round tower was built for bell ringing, I'm skeptical of that. And then if you try to posit bigger bells that you think would be appropriate in scale to the round tower, the question is, where are they? Because there's an archaeological invisibility that is hard to fathom, because we've a hugely rich archaeological record in Ireland, even if it's down to fragments of things. And we've a hugely rich documentary record in terms of what used to exist. But there are no round tower bells that we can identify. You'd expect somebody would have kept a piece or kept one, but we haven't any. So were they used for something else? And as for ringing a bell through the windows, we did that back in 2008. There was a BBC effort to look into this, and we were on Devonish. So I went to the top with a replica iron bell, but the window openings are so thick that I've actually got quite long arms. All I could do to reach through the opening from the interior, you could barely ring it at all, because you have almost no control over it. You're reaching out so far, and then you might drop it. And also, there's another practical consideration that struck me years ago, that the openings in the round tower windows are actually not all that wide. And if you were ringing a bronze bell, like the Bangor Bell or any of the bronze bells, which are in lovely condition, if you were ringing those every day through a round tower, careless people would end up walloping it off the stonework, inevitably. Couldn't avoid it. And that would mark the metal, but we don't see any such damage. So I don't see a connection between the two. So a bit of a mystery there, but thank you.